Okay, so we will do a recap what we have done yesterday, and then we will check what we are going to do for today, right? So quick recap on yesterday's things is like yesterday what we have done, we have created a component that is a um, hero detail, listing out the heroes. Okay, that is a component we have created, and we are able to get some static data uh, and display the list of heroes that we have in the array that we created. Okay, and along that, and then what when we select some hero, and that hero's details will be displayed on the bottom. So what is happening here is like we are putting both the things like hero list of heroes and the hero details, both of them into the single component. Okay, that is what we were doing it. And 1 second, let me open the VS Code. So tools of heroes is the one that we are working on, and this is a heroes component, one that we have created yesterday. So in this component, what we are trying to do, we were trying to list out all the heroes, and where we have the mock objects, right? Static object, static list of heroes that we were trying to display all the heroes on the screen. Okay, that is a one component that we have created. In the same component, we were trying to do two things. One is listing out the heroes. That's the first part, right? Listing out the heroes details, heroes, hero ID and hero name, kind of one list that we have created. Like this, we were trying to display the same component. We are doing one more activity, that is displaying the hero details. Okay, when we select any hero, let's say I selected this hero, and we are displaying everything into the same file. Okay, that's the two things that we are doing. And now what we are trying to do, we are trying to segregate, okay, divide this part and this part as a separate components. Okay, let's have two different components instead of having a single component. Okay, that is what we are trying to do. So we call this as a kind of a, means like instead of having everything into one place, we are trying to do divide this to functionalities, right? And what we are trying to do, we are going to create another component. Okay, maybe we can say that as a hero details component, and then we will place that this information into that component, and we will have very clearly structured. Okay, so what we are going to do now is we are going to create a future component as a sub component for a heroes. Okay, that is what we are going to do it now. Okay, so you guys know how to create a component by this time, right? uh, let's create a future component. Future component nothing but normal component only. So why we are saying future component, we are creating a component inside another component. That is why we are calling it as a future component. Okay, sub component that we are trying to create it. So now we are going to create a component, hero component. We already have that one, and we are going to have the hero details component. That's the future component. So this is a command for generating the component, and you can use, instead of generate, you can use a C for component, and then the component name. So I will generate a new component now. Ang ng uh, G for generate, C for component, and then component name. Okay, let's generate it. Hero details is the component that we are generating. So our new component got generated. If you see this hero details, that's a new component that got generated, right? That's what is done. This much you guys already know that. Okay. the command folder of this one. So and so it says that create a directory app heroes hero details. Okay, that hero details has already created. So there are a few things that has happened, right? He's saying that when you create a component and the few automatic things will happen, right? One such kind is like app.module.ts file. You will have the new registry, new entry in it, that is a hero details component. By default, you need to go to app.module.ts file, because when we discussed yesterday, and everything will be on top of a app module, right? That is what we have created, and this is a app module. Inside this app module, you need to register the new component that you have created. So that is what is your command is doing. When you run this one, it is automatically happening it. Okay, so you can read carefully what all things has done when you run this command, right? ngc ng generate component hero details. There are few four things has happened, right? One is, it is saying that it has created a file component dot hero details component dot html file inside this folder, and there is a spec folder, spec file, and there is a ts file, there is a css file. Everything is created inside src app hero details folder. And the last one, it says that it is updated. Okay, it is updated src app.module.ts file. So what is the update that happened inside a app.module.ts file? This new entry has happened. Okay, that new registry, whenever you create a new component, that will come. Whenever you create a new module or existing module that you wanted to import, that will come here. Okay, and the services will come here. We will be discussing in the next sessions. All right, so now let's go back to this one, the hero details, and let's say ts file, there is nothing in it, and there is a html file, and there is nothing for now, and then you don't have anything in the css as well. So why we have created hero details? Instead of showing everything in the same component, okay, and this is the hero details we are showing in the same component, and we wanted to divide that code into different place. Okay, that means instead of having two concepts here in the hero details, hero, right? Instead of having two things here, I want to move this part into new place here in the hero details. That's the only thing that we are trying to do it now. Okay, so this is the change that he is asking to move. That is exact code that we have in the hero component earlier. So we are moving this to hero details component. Okay, from here to there. So if you want to compare the changes, right? And this is what is selected hero, and hero name, and uppercase letters. So this is a placeholder is only the difference that he's doing. That is fine, perfectly fine. Apart from that, everything is same. Okay, getting it now? So now we are going to move this. This I copied from the browser. Okay, I'm going to hero details dot html file. Okay, as soon as I add this one, saving this, as soon as I add this one, of course this will be expecting some hero, right? The data from the ts file. Ts file should have this variable, then only it will execute, otherwise it will throw errors here, okay, on your browser. So it says that property hero does not exist. Okay, you have not defined the property hero in your component. Okay, that is why it is throwing an exception. Okay, let's do the changes in the ts file now, and then so that it will be able to fix itself. Okay, and what we are trying to do, we are trying to import hero. Okay, import hero inside the hero details component. That's a normal import that you're trying to do. Dependency, and then you are trying to do I will talk about the directives at the rate input directive right away. Okay. Before that, and then app.hero details, and I wanted to keep this inside. Okay, let me import this one to TS file. And then it would require some inputs in the this is a variable that we are trying to take it as an input. So this is the annotation that we have at the rate input, right? So at the rate input, we will be using for getting the data, right? This is a variable. Here is a variable. At the rate input, you'll be using for getting the data from it's a parent. Okay, let me explain you here. You have two components. One is the parent component. Okay, this is the, let's say, parent component, and it's a future component that we are going to create as a hero details component. Okay, let me name it as a hero component, hero, and we have another component that is hero details. Hero details component. uh, Hero details component we have. So what we are trying to do, hero is having the hero information, everything is there. Okay, in the hero you have hero details. Now I want to send the data. When I click on the hero here, right, one selected one hero button, when I click on it, I want to send this information, the data, to hero details and display on this component, hero details component. Okay, that is what I am trying to do. Getting it now? So when I want to send, when I want to click on this one and want to see the hero details, I'll click on this button, and the data should be flown from this component. Okay, this component is combination of HTML, CSS, TS file. This has to be flow from this place to, and this component. There is another set of for HTML, CSS, right? That is a component has to come. So to do that one, we will be using the variables, right? We will be reading the data from one place to another place. So we will be declaring the some, let's say, you have the variable called hero, and here also have some variable called hero. Okay, and then I will be using the directive called at the rate input. Okay, so the input, this variable is the input variable which will take the information. So if you name this as the input, this is the one, it is taking the information from its parent. Okay, this is a parent component. Okay, this is a parent component, and this is a child component, hero and hero details. Okay, and this is the two things that you have. And since it is sending from this is a parent, and it is giving the data, right, and it is outputting the data, and you will be having the variable right here at the rate output. Hero is a variable. Let me remove this. Okay. That's a directive that you have. Output hero. I'm writing it again here just to avoid this. All right, so that is what you are trying to do. So you are getting it right. From parent, you will be calling it as the output directive, and who is receiving, that is the input. This is the output and receive. This is how the data will flow from the parent component to child component. That is why we are using this directive called at the rate input in the child component in our design. Understanding, right? That's a one change that we have done it. And these are errors that it's showing, and it is already there. We have already imported the commons in ng. So I don't have to import this core again. What I will do, I will include this directive here, okay, in this line, and then I will remove it so that you will have single import. All right. So that is what we did so far. And then show the hero details component now, and in the component.html, right? How the data now, what we did, we created a component, hero details component, and that we are not okay, this one, and then we declare the variable that is a hero variable, okay, and then we are checking whether this hero is available, and then we are showing this name of the hero and ID of the hero, and the label, that is a button that you're trying to show it, means a text box kind of thing, right? And then you should be able to edit. There's a two-way binding that you are trying to do it. Okay, so far whatever is happening here, right, that is what we are trying to do. This part we are trying to implement it. Now in this component, this is variable is there, but for this variable, who is going to give the data? That's a big question now, right? So for this one, who is going to give the data? And as we discussed in this diagram, to get the data for hero details, it has to come from the hero component. Okay, so we are not going to define here. It will come from the hero component when I click on it. So for that, what you need to do, this is where the hero, right? This is the hero component you have, and in this one you already have the hero details. Okay, you already have this one. Instead of writing all these things, what you can do, there is a single line that you have to add so that the data will flow. Okay, I will explain this how this binding is happening here. Okay, so can you see this one? This is a single line that we added, line number 20, and this is earlier it was already there, the other details. Let me move this to bottom. All right, so all these are old code that you have. The only one line that I'm adding is this one, and I will explain it what it is happening. So do you guys know what this is? So what we are trying to do, we are trying to combine these two, right? On top of the hero component, that we already have, okay, and we are trying to create one more component called hero details component. Okay, how to place one component into another component? Let's say we have placed now this hero component inside this component, right? How we are placing? By using the selector. We are placing the hero component inside app component by using the selector. Selector is nothing but what? This is in the components you will have the selector. This is the one. Okay. Now likewise, I want to place the hero details component inside a heroes component, right? So what is the selector of hero details? Hero details selector is this one. Okay, and this is what I'm trying to place the selector inside a heroes component. That is what it is doing. Okay, so far you guys should be very clear about it, what we are trying to do. Okay, this is just a selector. We are including hero details component inside a hero component. That's the only simple thing that we are trying to do. Apart from that, we are trying to do one more small change, that there is a braces, and then you have the hero variable in it, and then we are saying we are assigning value to that one. So if you closely observe, this is nothing but a variable which will go to this component, okay, which will be declared. This is a variable which will be there inside this component, okay, and this variable hold the value and whatever is assigned to this one selected hero. What is the selected hero will have? So when I click on this one here, this is a selected hero. What is the selected hero variable have? when whatever I selected, that is the details it will have. Okay, selected hero component will have all these details. Okay, and those are the values it will be having. Okay, and then I'm assigning these values to the hero variable, which is there inside app hero details component. So let's go to this one. This is where we have this one, right? App hero, that is a hero variable that we have. Since we are making it as an input, and it will receive the information from parent component. It's a parent component. Whoever is included this component, it will receive from there, so that this will have the values and this will be displayed. This data will come here automatically. Everything will be displayed. Okay, so that is what we are doing. It that is how you should be creating the components. If I go back, and you have two things, right? When I click on uh, hero details, there are two times it is displayed. Okay, one is coming from the same hero details component, another one is coming from the child component. So I don't require, because I don't, that is what we were trying to avoid. So I don't want to add the hero details inside a hero component. I will simply delete this one. Okay, I'm keeping it as a commented line for your information so that you can understand later. Okay, I'm commenting it out. And then if I go back, I click on this one, and there will be only one hero or details. Okay, then it will get displayed. So you guys are getting it, what we are trying to do and what we have done so far, and how to create a feature component and include in it. Okay, so that's what we did so far, and there's a simple thing, and the straightforward thing that you have. And hero component, that's what we included, what changes we have done. That's all. Okay, that is how you will be creating a feature component. Getting it now? All right.